The Project. Kuwait. Learn. Live.
All right, in today's episode, we're going to sit down with Kuwait's fittest man of 2018.
Rob Schillaci.
It
took us a while to get his name right.
It took us a whole episode to figure out how to say it. So Rob is the head coach at the Borough Gym here in Kuwait, and he gives a good breakdown on the difference between being a competitive CrossFitter and using CrossFit as a training for general health and wellness. So he really hits on some points of those of you that may be intimidated on what's been popularized as CrossFit, which is the sport. And it turns out that there's a whole lot of CrossFit going on that is not the sport. So that's what we get into today.
Yeah, so Rob gives us a great background about himself, how he started CrossFit and how he's got to where he is in Kuwait now. As I said, Kuwait's fittest male. And gives us a good insight into how he coaches, and because he's been coaching now for the past 5 years, so a pretty long time in CrossFit terms. So we'll get a good idea of what's going on in his brain and how he programs for the guys at the Borough.
It was an awesome episode. I mean, he was very articulate, well-spoken, broke things down really well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from coming from a newbie perspective, so to speak, in CrossFit and understanding what on-ramping was, which was like a 5-minute discussion. And then we finally get the breakdown of it, which was awesome because it's amazing how that doesn't exist here. And it would be awesome if it was brought in later on.
Yeah, that was great.
Sit back and enjoy another CrossFit episode.
And when you're done, watch The Lion King.
Yes. You'll understand later on.
You'll get it.
You'll get it. Enjoy.
All this and more in today's episode.
Welcome to the project.
You are.
It's you.
Yeah, Rob.
You just introduced him.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Hi, how's it going?
Oh, I'm supposed to look. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't pay attention to where I'm looking when I have the headphones on. But that's just me all the time. So, but Rob, welcome to the project.
Thank you.
Coach over at one of the local boxes here in Kuwait. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been coaching.
Oh, wait, sorry. I got to cut you off on this. Fittest athlete in Kuwait for 2018 , right?
Yeah, in the
we got to throw that one on there. I got to throw that one out there.
Yeah. Surprisingly, yes.
Regionals athlete.
This year made the cut to regionals. But so I've been coaching now in CrossFit for a long time now, thinking about it. Maybe since 2012, 11. Actually taking CrossFit classes. And then before that, I was playing like a lot of rugby. So literally my whole life was evolved around playing rugby. Played like quite a high level, played semi-professional, was able to represent my country, England counties standard. So like literally everything was rugby based, and then used CrossFit as a tool to like help with conditioning. But like at first I never even heard of CrossFit. So that was sort of like what I was using for conditioning. And then I was like introduced into it. I was like, oh, I've done this stuff before, but I didn't know it had a name. So then slowly translated from rugby out of that into CrossFit, and then the rest is history. It was just CrossFit nonstop, coaching it and training it, and then slowly competing into it. That was literally from 2011, 2012, all the way up to now.
And whereabouts were you when you were coaching there?
So I originally first started coaching in a box in Hartford called CrossFit Hartford, which is now CrossFit Huntsman. So a great box, but it was like a small gym above a car park, but above a mechanics where they was like fixing cars underneath. We had 3 squat racks. And there was like sometimes 15, 20 people coming in for one class. And we're doing squats today. And we're like, crap, okay, let's try and partner up. Let's try and get it all done. But it was a great time. Learned a lot there. And again, this was such a diverse, we had dads, mums, football players, people's, even nans and granddads coming into class. And everyone's doing what's on the board today. We're scaling it. We're making it work for everyone. But again, we had such a community spirit in this, what was like such a small place. Then as obviously membership grew, we got bigger and bigger, so we had to expand, and we got into a massive place. And then we changed to CrossFit Huntsman, and again, it just grew and grew and grew, the place did. And so did all the members that came. And the community got bigger, again, different abilities, different levels, all coming in and out of the box. But the main thing, everyone was doing what was on that day's program, or what was programmed that day. And when I first started taking a class, I didn't do any programming. I was like, what was on the board was what I just coached. I just knew what was the day before, looked at it, called it something pro. Then as we progressed and years got on, I was then in charge of like full programming for the full facility, which at the time I was like, oh crap, what if people turn around and like, I don't like this. this sucks what this guy's
always
doing.
a risk.
They are,
right? Like,
but they always will too.
Yeah, and like as I like found out, you can't please everyone. Someone's always going to have a problem or a issue. But the majority of them like seem to really enjoy it. We made a lot of progress. Guys were lifting new numbers, hitting new PRs, learning new skills and abilities, which was always great to see. And like a real buzz for me in CrossFit especially is like, you may have someone like a great example is I used to have a guy that come in and he must have been pushing late 50s now. He didn't have he wanted to be fit and healthy. So he wasn't like, oh, I need to do muscle ups or I need to do handstand push-ups. But through time, through progress, just following the progressions, coming to class, showed up every morning, 7 a.m. Lo and behold, like this year, he's doing bar muscle-ups in a frigging workout. Not even thinking about it. He's just like throwing up there. He sticks to the weights he knows he can do, but nothing holds him back. But when he first come into the gym, he wasn't even bothered by it. He wasn't even like, oh, I need to do that. Or he wasn't like, oh, no, I can't do this. I'm going to get injured doing this. This isn't the right place for me. We gave him scaling options. We gave him like different things to work on. And just as it just naturally progressed, he kept seeing other people doing it. He was like, I got the strength. I can do that. I can put these pieces together. I can understand this movement. And one day he's like, I'm going to give it a go. And he flew straight up there. So it was like pretty cool to see. And he's like, oh crap, this guy, like out of nowhere, which was pretty cool to see. So I must have been at Huntsman now for over 5 years. So that was like the bulk of my coaching and like programming years there.
So quick question. When you took over programming, did you kind of keep that same model of like, this is the program of the day and this is what we all do within the gym, whether you're trying to go for a competition or you're this 50-year-old and you just kind of scaled from there?
That's a good question. So to start with, it was, I was like, I didn't want to like veer off too much from what guys are used to. So I was like, I'll try and keep the same blend of what we're doing programming wise. Obviously, I want it to be my own take on it as well. So originally, I just try and kept it within the realms of what we were doing in the previous place with scaling options for the day. So basically what I would do, I'd draw out like a 12-week program of like a strength program, and the WODs would be, or the workout of the day, the conditioning section would be filled in weekly or 2 weeks at advance, just so like I was ahead of time, we could see what was going on. But with that, then we have guys coming in, I want to compete. I need to be doing muscle ups. I need to be doing bar muscle. I need to learn handstand walking. I need to learn this. Then there's the mums and dads coming in like, I don't care about this. Like I'm wasting 20, 25 minutes of class. So like once I finished one cycle, I designed a new cycle. I was like, right, do you know what? We're going to have compete and fit. Guys that care about health and fitness, you're going to do this part of the program. Guys that want to compete, you're going to do this part of the program. It's ideally the same program, but with just two complex areas. So for instance, take the bar muscle up. Guys want to do bar muscle ups. They may be doing bar muscle ups, chest to bar pull ups, whatever progressions we had written up there for these guys. The guys that didn't really care about them, just want to stay fit and healthy. They may be doing strict pull ups, ring rows, this sort of stuff. That's going to keep shoulders in the back strong and healthy. Translate to them every day. You're not really going to see much bent over rows in a competition. But for them, it's ideal. It's what they need. For the guys who compete, it's also what they need. So to start with, again, it was like I'm trying to tailor for everyone, like keep everyone happy, which is good and bad. Like luckily we had the coaching staff where we had 2 or 3 guys on that could, like 2 guys could take the compete, 1 or 2 guys could take the fit, and we could veer off, and then everyone would come together for the actual class workout. And again, it would be scaled options from all levels. So let's say we had guys doing snatches in a workout. Some guys are doing the RX of like 135 pounds power snatches. But then way down, we've got mum of 2 doing dumbbell snatches. But again, they're still getting the same workout in. They're still getting the same stimulus, but they're working to the level. They're not, you have to do a power snatch. I'm going to load the bar up. You got to do it anyway, means you got to get it up overhead with regardless of your form or technique. I've been to boxes where you've seen that where it's like power snatches. Right, I'm doing power snatches as well. Which one's power snatches again? It's that one. And it's like, okay, let's take it back a couple of steps. You don't need to do power snatches today. If you're asking me, what is it? Why don't we make it a little bit more of a simpler movement, like a dumbbell snatch, a little bit easier to understand, especially when you're breathing heavy in the middle of a workout. So that was sort of like where the program started to develop into next. And then that seemed to work pretty well. Like I was really pleased how it was going. Like guys seemed to love it because they could literally come into the board, see what they were doing that day, or check their Wodifier apps that we had, and was like, oh, cool, I'm doing that. I'm doing single leg step ups. I'm doing single leg glute bridges, this sort of stuff. And other guys were like, oh, cool, I'm building to like a heavy 5 back squat or whatever the complex movement was for today as well for the guys that wanted to compete versus the guys that wanted to just stay fit and healthy.
So did you have guys like who were doing, say, for example, guys who were doing the fit program, but then if they compete, they had like it was skills or things that they could do? So would they like, they start to...
Well, we had cherry pickers then.
Yeah.
So there were guys, exactly. They're like, oh, I want to do the fit strength, but come the workout. Oh, no, I'm not scaling back the RX weights. I got to do 135 power cleans, or I got to do this. What's your 1 rep max? 155. All right, let's rein it back in a little bit. Why don't you go 95 and keep the technique good? Oh, let me just start 135. And it's that constant battle of being a coach, especially of like, you want them to push. You don't want to feel like you're constantly saying no and holding them back. But then on the other side, it's like, you're going to hurt yourself, man. Like this is 95%, and you got to do 20 reps of it. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
You're catching it in a bad position. You're receiving it in a bad position. Let's drop it down to a weight that you can move a little bit more comfortably, a little bit more safely.
Yeah, it's that, or it's like they start off at 145, and then it's like in the middle of the workout, they want to just take a little bit of weight off, and then keep taking weight off, and it's like, well, now you've blown the whole stimulus of the point of what I was trying to get you to do.
Or it's like, I'll load the bar. I'm going to leave these plates here on the side, just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Just in case, see how I feel.
I always tell people, I'm like, commit.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, either put these back or put these on and put the heavier weights back. Yeah. You don't need to do this.
Yeah, but that's something that comes on the coach side too. Just let people know what the intention is with the class and the program, and it sounds like everybody had that good generalization of knowing what's my intention.
Yeah, like you had guys who come in wouldn't even I would read out the fit and I'm like, right, I'm going to get ready for fit. Didn't even bother listening to what the computer was like. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
which was great. And then the other guys are like, maybe today I'll do a little bit of compete, or maybe I'll just stay in the fitness.
Do you think CrossFit boxes now, from what you're saying and the last point you brought up, like the last word you just said, do you think there's kind of a shift going towards the competitive atmosphere in a box, and it's kind of scaring your average guys away from the sport, or away from the health and fitness aspect of it?
I mean, I can see how intimidating it can be when you walk into a CrossFit class and you're seeing, let's say, like the 5 o'clock class going, you've got guys like sprinting around the box, throwing barbells around, jumping on off the rig, and you're like, what is going on? But I think like the majority of the boxes and the majority of the boxes memberships don't want to compete. Like competitive CrossFit is actually quite a small membership, and like not many boxes make good money out of just being a competitive box. Like it's not a very big money maker for them. But the health and fitness, it's the health and fitness, the mums, the dads, the aunties, the uncles, the word of mouth. Come, I'm having a great CrossFit session. I just turn up. Everything I need to do is pretty much taken care of, like from start to finish. My warm up, my strength, my skills. Like I'm learning new stuff daily. It's not just, okay, we're coming in, we're doing back and biceps today. I'm doing like this sort of stuff. It's like new stuff, always evolving, and getting a great conditioning workout at the end as well. Sometimes I'm not even doing that. Like I've been in the classes, I programmed stuff where we didn't do the WOD, the high max, that we did a whole stress of like single leg, single arm work, corrective exercises, corrective drills. And to start with, people are like, whoa, I need to okay, I'm going to stay after and do a little bit extra. I was like, well, today you don't need this. Because tomorrow we're going to do all conditioning where you can really put in the hard work, go sweat. But today, let's take a step back. You'll feel better for it. It's what you probably need. And then we can go a little bit harder tomorrow rather than every single day just like slamming yourself into the ground with workouts. Which again, such a hard thing, probably for especially new people coming into CrossFit. Like that mindset, every day has got to be like the finals of a competition. They're just slamming themselves in, going all out every single day, when it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to spend like 20, 25 minutes just working on skills.
And that's something to think about too, though. Like you're programming, assuming that somebody is coming to your class every day that it's available within the week.
Yeah.
So you get someone who maybe shows up like one day in the week and it's one of those days and they're like, what the hell am I coming to the gym for this? I could have done this at home. And it's well, I'm assuming that, and that's something to...
Yeah. And that was like when I come here, when I come into Kuwait, that was a big, again, like the first things I heard straight from coaches, I'm going to do, when can we do bar muscle ups? When can I do ring muscle ups? I'm like, how many strict chest to bar pull-ups can you do, for instance? How many strict pull-ups? I like 3 or 5. When you can give me 5 exactly strict chest to bar pull-ups from a dead hang from all the way pull-up, then we'll start looking into that. But to start with, you have no reason to be looking at bar muscle ups. You don't have the strength for it to start with. So let's take a couple of steps back. Let's build up and go from there. And then these guys just want to do workouts. Just want to work out. We just want to do WODs. And then give it a month, 2 months, 3 months. Coach, I'm not progressing. I feel like I've hit a plateau. And it's like, okay, what are you doing? What have you been doing extra? I did like this workout. I did that workout in the afternoon. I've been running real hard. Awesome, cool. I'm not really eating much either. I've not been sleeping much. It's like, and you can't see like the pattern here, why you feel so burnt out. So
it's your like programming.
It's the hourglass you keep turning up to, right? Yeah. So that's another area that was like a big,
that's a struggle.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't want to be the bad guy always saying, no, stop doing that. Stop that. Don't do that. But sometimes you need to like rein people in and say, first I always like to say is like, what are you training for? Like, what are your goals? Why are you here? Because then also, oh, okay, yeah, actually, no, it's true. I don't need to do that. I don't need to quickly jump in with that workout. I saw that looked cool, because it's just adding to your fatigue.
And that's the thing with overtraining on the women's side becomes really big, because they're jumping in on these classes, and maybe it's one of those days where it's just kind of skill work. It's not the drop dead laying in a puddle of your own sweat, at the end. And what I just have to explain to them, especially if you're in a gym like where you coach, where you've got so many other options of classes, it's like you have to understand that these classes aren't programming with each other in mind.
Yeah.
So you want to go do my class, and then you want to go do another class.
Yeah.
You have to understand these aren't programmed for you to be doing together in a day. So understand what's
and
that's
and then it's
body.
Also like we do have that where guys will come in and look at the board and be like, that looks boring. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want to go do something else.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit like,
and then they're beat for the next day.
Yeah, and it's always like
matters,
they've just done one class, and they come into your class, and you're like, are you okay? You don't look too good. Yeah, I just did like a 45-minute workout already. Have you eaten anything? No, I ate at 3 o'clock. Oh, it's 6 o'clock now. And you're like, what do you, like, it's almost like common sense. What do you think you're going to feel like after doing all this? And you're just like wrecking yourself.
Yeah.
But what about, right now, I think there's a lack of advertising for average Joe to come back to the box and work out again. When I first got into CrossFit, I hated CrossFit.
What brought you into CrossFit?
What brought me into CrossFit was the competitive side.
Yeah.
I like competing with people. But before it was, if I do CrossFit, I'm going to get hurt. And that's the biggest misconception out there. And I think when I see the videos on your local box's Instagram, for instance, it's always the guys doing the hardest moves, like a snatch or a clean or, like they're doing something crazy.
No one's recording an air squat and posting it.
Yeah.
Look, let's try this.
Yeah. Just keep it a little, right there. Yeah. So we bleed out the echo. But you're right. No one's doing an air squat. No one's showing the mundane movements. Just so everyone knows, like throughout my experience with CrossFit, I've had people say, hey, you might just row for an hour. You got to get used to it. And people don't see that side of it. Like the older people, I've tried convincing my aunt, who's an older, younger lady, because if she hears this, she will kill me if I call her older, but to do CrossFit. And she's like, no, that's for crazy people, and it's because no one sees it. No one sees like you'll see guys in our box like Mark, all right, who's an older guy, very fit, very athletic. If I saw him walking into a gym, I'd get scared and walk out.
What's great is that Mark has only learned CrossFit from coming to the classes. Wow. He didn't do it before.
Wow.
He didn't do anything before. And now, he's throwing bars, like throwing weights around he didn't even think he could do now. He's doing like gymnastic movements that he never didn't even understand, didn't even know what some of them were. But now he knows it. He knows how to put it together. What's great about him, and he's a great example, is he knows his limits as well. He's not.
He's got the
He's
ego
happy
side of
to
it.
say that was enough for today. That's enough. That felt good. Even like from real guilty of him, like that looked great. You probably easily add some more weight to that. Like that looks so easy for you. And he's like, yeah, but I'm happy there. And it's a great attitude that he has. Like he just wants to stay in shape. He loves the classes. He loves the atmosphere of working with everyone. And he doesn't need to like every day kill himself, beat himself down every single day. He just works to his ability. If he needs to scale it, he'll scale it. He's not afraid to push a little bit harder or add that little bit extra weight, but within reason. And which is what a lot of it, like, you need to also be a little bit sensible as well when you're coming into class on yourself. But like you say, for people, like, they're like, my biggest pet peeve is people come to class and they're like, why don't you come do CrossFit? I don't know what to do. Or like, I don't know how to do CrossFit. Or I'm not fit enough for CrossFit. Well, the only reason you get
have a
fit,
body.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm here for, to teach you how to do it. And the only reason you get fit at CrossFit is by doing CrossFit.
It's that same mentality of I need to get in shape before I go to the gym.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, you go there for that.
Right.
That's what will happen. And it's like, these guys are at the class at the moment. Do you think they was like secretly training away to then they were ready to come to CrossFit? No, they just kept coming to class. They just kept coming. They were just consistent throughout. They just showed up day in, day out. And over time, they just got better and better. And it just naturally evolved. It wasn't like one day, all right, I've gone from 0 to hero. I put in the hours and it all paid off for them. It wasn't like they said they were just secretly training. Okay, now I'm at a fitness level where I can come to a CrossFit gym or a CrossFit class. CrossFit helps you get very conditioned, very fit in a short period of time as well. Like when I did CrossFit for my rugby training, my conditioning went through the roof because I had my best seasons because I was using CrossFit as a conditioning tool.
Same thing with swimming for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never qualified for nationals. And then once we started adding that in, it made everything better. But it's hard because I was out of CrossFit before you guys had started in before the Open had started, before Reebok got involved. And that's what popularized the sport side of it. And that's why people, when they see it, like all they're seeing is these elite, crazy stories and these high level and skilled movements that you see. So it does. It's what popularized it. But it's, if you go back to the very beginning of what CrossFit was, it was very much your 90-year-old grandma, an Olympic athlete, can be working out together, essentially getting the same stimulus. What the movements look different.
Yeah, and
but
that's what's great about it, that you can have a class with such diverse abilities in one class doing what's respectively the same workout, but scaled to each and everyone's ability, which is great. And like I say, like if you're going to come to a class or people come into class, they're like, I don't know what to do. Ask the coach, ask. Like if you don't know, the only reason you'll find out is by asking. Like, we can't read your mind.
Exactly.
If you're not sure, let us know. And you always have that from guys all the time. Like, even now, it'll be like we're about to start the workout. I'll shout the workout out as what we're going to do, just so everyone's got fresh. Any questions? Yeah, what is it again, coach? And I'm just like, I've just said it. Like, but we've got to go through it again, just so everyone's clear. Yeah, it's like the 5th time now. It starts with a run to get off the rowing machine.
Could be literally like 5s of everything. And they'll be like, we do 8 of these? And it's like, I never once said 8. Where did you get 8 from?
Like my worst one, I have to be careful in my program, it's a freeze ladder. So you always add 3 reps, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, coach. Yeah, I did 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, no, you 15. There's more. You had a good workout? Yeah. Perfect.
That's the important thing.
That works,
So what would you say to the average guy that sits behind a desk all day, who is, I'd say, ranging from 35 to, say, 55, that needs to get healthier? Because we know Kuwait has like some alarming health statistics. And, you see a lot of, we're number 1 in obesity and we have the best restaurants in the world, which is awesome. No wonder why I know, right? But what would you say to these guys if you have the floor right now? So it's like, what's your elevator pitch to these guys that would say, I don't want to do CrossFit because I'll get hurt. I don't know what exercise to do. I don't know what form of health, I don't know what form of fitness.
Well, this is it. Like, if you don't know what to do, the best thing for you to do is come to a class where you're being coached through it. It doesn't make sense for you to come to a gym on your own and just sit on the rowing machine or sit on the air bike for 10 minutes and think, cool, I did my 10 minutes of conditioning. I'm feeling good. I did 5 reps on the bench press. Cool, I'm feeling good. Come to a class where you are taught how to move, taught your technique, taught like correct positions. And you're basically, literally, coaches will hold your hand through a whole session, taking you through everything from start to finish. Like, this is the warm-up. This is exactly what we're going to be doing. Like, I've spent classes, which is probably not ideal for some of the guys that have been it, but also they've been in the class for a while. They know what they're doing. But I've almost spent a class with one person, like constantly going over it with them because they're brand new and they just don't know what to do. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, tough. You'll have to just like make it up as you go. Like, just look and copy. No, this is what you should be doing. Make sure your knees are tracking your toes. And if we're squatting, I'll keep that chest up a little bit. Not, you've kind of got it. Okay, don't worry, I need to look at these people as well.
So do you think, like, with that in mind, do you think that some people are nervous about coming to like a CrossFit because they've had bad experiences with bad coaches or things like that as well?
Then that's a bit of like, that's a crappy thing as well. Like, in all areas of fitness, there's good and bad coaches, there's good and bad gyms. And if, you may go into a CrossFit gym and get a bad experience and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you're like, forget this, I'm not doing CrossFit, this sucks. Like, I didn't get anything I wanted. I didn't get helped. I just got left on my own. I felt like I've had people go into CrossFit and I felt like I was like a burden to the class. Like, I was like holding everyone back, when like I always have to you have to remind everyone, like, everyone started from the beginning. Like, everyone didn't know how to do these movements to start with. You all had to start somewhere. So this is what, like, I've always been involved in communities that have been real helpful. So they will help people out. Like, even to say, like, oh, kettlebells are over here. Come with me. I'll show you where to go.
I think people get excited to have someone new in the class, and they kind of want to help coach each other in that aspect, which can be helpful, in some ways, but there is a line. Yeah, definitely with that. But how do you feel then about like on-ramp type classes and getting people to go through a process like
so
that?
That was another, we had that in my place in the UK, which was like perfect, really, which was a great setup because we had guys come in that would do the on-ramp, the fundamentals, learn the basics like squat, press, deadlift, some weightlifting, some gymnastic skills. So they had a good base and an idea that when they come into class, they didn't feel like
lost.
Yeah, lost and like, oh, okay, what do I do? But also I'm a little bit scared to put my hand up and go like, what's that? What do I do? Because you've got like 15 people in a class. Again, you feel like you're a burden. So they had an understanding of what they were doing. Also, like, we knew as coaches, okay, this person is new. or has just finished on-ramp. So let's just make sure they're refreshed. They know what they're doing. A lot of the stuff we was going through the warm-up literally led into the rest of the class, so it all translated from one to another. So then as they progressed, we have guys now that did the on-ramp class who are now almost like leading classes.
Right.
And again, they've just picked up technique and they've got stronger, they've got healthy, they've got fitter, they've improved their range of motion in like movement patterns just from coming to classes. Didn't do anything special, didn't do anything extra. They wanted to get fit and healthy, and that's what happened. They didn't have to like take these magic pills or do this magic program on the side. They just come to class.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency pays off, yeah.
Similarly, I got another question, follow-up. What would you tell the young kids, the 15 to 20-year-olds? Look, I've got 2 kids that dropped out of baseball last year. I'm really proud of them. They're doing some good work right now, and they've moved to CrossFit. They've got, I guess they have like a CrossFit box at their school now, which is pretty cool. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's because you're in school.
Yeah,
real bit, yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, especially here in Kuwait, because you're encouraging movement, and you're encouraging physical activity. But what would you tell them when it comes to learning how to compete and finding, a good CrossFit coach? Because I think that's probably the most important thing, especially at a young age.
Yeah. Like your young age, you got to be like a sponge. You got to like soak up as much information as you can. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if you think it's stupid, just ask. Find out as much information. But like you say, first of all, you got to find a good coach. And again, that's another bit tough, especially at Kuwait. Like, where do you go? Where do you see? There's a lot of coaches about here. If you have friends, ask these guys, or if you know guys that have been competing and you want to get in the competing, like competitive side of CrossFit, then ask some of these guys that are competing. Like a few of us have been competing for like 4 or 5 years now, so we got a good idea of what it's like, what it takes for like training wise, everything that goes in and around that it's not going to be every single, like, don't watch a day in the life of some of the CrossFitters, because that's not what you're going to be doing every single day. Okay, so you're not doing 5 workouts every day for the next 4 or 5 months. And then also understand, learn your fundamentals, learn the foundation of your movement patterns, especially.
If an on-ramp class isn't offered, I think it's completely okay to maybe, if you're really that nervous about it, then go for a few PTs. Yeah. And you'll probably, find out what kind of quality coach you're dealing with.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And you feel more comfortable as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because not only are you seeing the coach, like the same faces that you already coached with, he or she knows, okay, I've been doing one-to-one, I know that they can do this movement, or they're a little bit too sketchy at this, or they haven't quite got this dialed down, so I can scale it back just for the sake of the workout. And they're learning stuff on the side that's going to translate into the class. And they can pull them, like if you're doing an on-ramp class or a fundamentals with a PT, I mean, ideally, I would say that they're going to be doing that, what's going to be geared to the classes as well. So like if I did a PT with a client on Monday, but I know they're coming in on Tuesday, I'd probably incorporate some of Tuesday's workout on Monday. So when they come, it's not completely fresh in their mind. They're like, oh, we did this yesterday. Yeah. So
people have different learning rates as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So some people, like if they're all doing an on-ramp at the same time, then some people are going to learn straight away, like even though they haven't done it. And then some people are going to take a couple sessions.
Not everybody's awesome like me. Sorry.
Yeah. Like that.
That was my fake laugh, by the way.
I'm not used to making fake laugh. That's why she is the smarter one of all of us.
The gym I came from, we had to take people through 10 one-on-ones before they could join class. And now it's developed into an on-ramp thing because they couldn't keep up with demand of 10 one-on-ones with people.
Yeah, that's like us. Like there was
10 hours
classes,
before you get into class.
They were sold out weeks and months in advance.
Yeah.
And which is great to see.
Yeah.
But then you had some guys going to on-ramp and they were like, even then they were like, this is too hard.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Here we don't really see on-ramps that much.
Not at all.
Because I think the patience...
What is an on-ramp? Like, you guys really...
It's usually going through all the...
what it is.
There's 9 foundational movements you can probably talk
about. I'm not an expert, and I'm like, what the hell's an on-ramp? I mean, look, this is why I'm on the show.
That's probably even a good testament. If you don't know what an on-ramp is, then that's like, and you've been in CrossFit in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Like the fact that actually...
I don't actually know a box that does on-ramp in Kuwait.
That's the thing. They don't have
it. Fundamentals, there's 4 hours.
We tried to bring it into over our place. But it just...
So
because of the class, it just didn't pick up. And it's like, oh, okay.
When we started the borough, we tried to...
This died out very quickly. Yeah. Basically, fundamentals class on ramp is basically taking you through the fundamentals of CrossFit. So this is where you're going to learn. And usually a lot of it's just with a PVC pipe and a wall ball. Like, so it's like you're not stacking up weights, but you're going to learn how to back squat, front squat, overhead squat, deadlift, press, push press, split jerk, push jerk. Sometimes split jerk as well, guys, will add in weightlifting. Yeah, get a bit of an understanding of what it is. At least they've seen it and they understand what it looks like. Because some people, you'll say, we're going to do split jerks today. And they're like, what? Well, we're going to do snatch. So this is what it looks like. This is the movement. this is it in its basics forms. We're going to like go through it just so you understand, but we're not going to perfect you in the next 20 minutes. We're going to get through the whole class, but just so
it's
you guys
basically terminology.
Yeah.
It's being able to understand
so that when you come to the whiteboard or the blackboard, that you're not the person who's like just like
deer in
what the hell is
headlights.
going on.
And rowing is a big thing to go over in fundamentals too, because there's a lot of shitty rowing technique out there.
People don't know how to row. Dude, people don't know how to row. And it took me, before I used to just kind of grab and just pull, jerk, do whatever the hell I had to do to get the calories up. And now I'm like, wow.
People row and they actually take that as they're going to just row with their arms and forget any other part of the body.
So, I mean, as I said, it's a testament to the fact that, like, there is no on-ramp in Kuwait, the fact that, like, you haven't heard of it.
Oh, yeah. There's a lack of fundamentals. Yeah.
But I think it's massively, because I think every box that I've been to has tried to do one.
Yeah.
And it's just purely for the patience of the public.
Yeah.
Like, because they just don't want, like, it's boring. It takes some time, but, like, for most people, it's necessary. Even if, like, some guy knows how to squat. I mean, generally squatting here, like, the passing is better than in the UK.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, like, the lower body flexibility and mobility is a little bit better than UK. But, like, so they might be bored during the squat, but then as soon as we get to, like, an overhead press, like, they might be bodybuilders for a couple of years, and then there's, like, all sorts of, like, forward motion going on.
No lockout.
And then they get to the jerks, and they're things that, like, actually then we're getting to the movements that people are starting to learn some things, but then some people are still trying to get the squat. And so it's like, again, there's kind of different rates, but people find them boring. Like, at the beginning, they want to just get straight into just smashing themselves up.
I mean, if you give someone a PVC pipe, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, they're like, what is this?
I can make you sore with a PVC pipe.
But then we start holding in these positions and hold it, and they're sweating. It's like, what's up? What's wrong? I thought this was nothing.
So basically an on-ramp position, an on-ramp class.
It's courses of a foundation.
Makes like living.
Where it's fun.
So basically for the average person, go to your local gym and say, start this up, because that's where you're going to learn all the fundamentals. That's where you're going to learn how to squat down, overhead press and everything. It's kind of like, I mean, I'll relate this to baseball like everything else I do in life. You know, that's kind of like teaching someone how to throw a ball for the first time. It's like, look, your body position has to be perfect. You can't throw 300 feet until you know how to throw 5 feet, so to speak, right? I mean, I think that's the best way to put it for average people.
Yeah, we need to know the mechanics and the breakdown of the movement.
And not to get bored. Like, you need this. You need this so that you can progress later on. Whereas, I mean, people will see it as boring and they'll go to the shake your booty class or whatever, whatever's going on instead. No, I mean, realistically, look, classes are really good and it depends on the trainer and the programming. But if you're going to a class just to sweat and just to get beat into the ground, you're probably doing more harm than good. Whereas if you go to some of these classes where you have the mobility work that's getting worked into it and, stuff like that, and you're learning the basics, you're going to be you're going to be better off, way better off later on.
Yeah, I'd say even if like say here especially, there is like circus gym one we know that she does an on-ramp, and if you can't get to that place, don't be afraid to maybe ask the coach or the coaches there, can I maybe buy some PTs with you? Just so I can be up to speed with the classes. I don't want to be like, I feel like I'm holding back people, so could maybe we just go over some of the stuff or...
Yeah, I think generally most coaches as well, if you just say, can I just grab 5 minutes of your time just to go through this real quick?
And that's it, then don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, like if they've got time, then generally people will be like, no worries. Like it's in between the time I'm eating and grabbing a coffee or whatever, like I help you. So I think it's just not being afraid to ask.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Will you actually buy me a coffee? Both coaches, all coaches in this room.
If you ask nicely.
See, I'm always like, can I send this dude this video and get some critiques from him also and get some feedback? But then I'm like, but he's not my coach. I don't pay him. Can I do that? Where do you guys all stand on that? Like if you have someone that's in your class and they took a video of themselves doing a snatch. All right, let's use one of the tough movements. All right, I just say that because I was going to send the video to someone. And I was like, I don't know, but how would you guys feel if you got that?
I would welcome it.
I'd rather he did.
Yeah, I would definitely welcome that. And I tell my girls in group classes that I have in the morning too. It's like if you're doing something at home and you feel you have questions about something, definitely send it. But I get clients that'll send me like articles and videos of other things, like is this a good movement, or this person says this about this, and they'll ask for my feedback on it. And I welcome that absolutely, because not only does it challenge and reaffirm what I think I know, but it's going back to that beginner mindset. And it's like they'll send me an article of something that's so basic in my mind, of something that I learned many years ago that's just become second nature. I'm like, I didn't know that people find this interesting or that they find this surprising about fitness, So I absolutely would welcome someone doing that for sure.
Yeah, and like with like with movement patterns as well, I'd rather they did send it than we we could be like, okay, this is what you're doing, but this is a little bit off, or when you try this setup, or fix that a little bit, rather than keep reinforcing this bad pattern. And they come to class and you're like, you wasn't doing that last week, or you wasn't doing that 2 weeks ago. What happened? And like, oh yeah, I've been doing it at home. It's like, oh, okay, you've built up these bad habits now. Now we need to take a step back, which is frustrating for you and a little bit for us. And now we need to take like the steps back to go more steps forward.
Right.
Which they're a bit like, I thought I was doing so well. It felt so good. But it's like, oh no, you was like putting out of your arm, or you just wasn't doing something correct.
And I think as a coach, it's an opportunity as well. Like give them that little bit of information of what you see in that video, but then it can also be the opportunity of like, hey, I can see that you're really committed and you're interested. Maybe let's take a session and work on it one-on-one. So
I think, I mean, I want to circle back to this because you mentioned, and you did talk about it in depth, but I do want to circle back to the point that if you see Josh Bridges' program, don't go and do what he's doing. Yeah. Like if you see Rob working out and Liam working out, don't go and try and pick up a barbell with like 400 pounds on it. It's just not happening. You know, when, you know, some guys, and I'm that person. Yeah, well, I mean, it's Josh Bridges' workout because it's for Josh Bridges. Yeah, but so that's why he does it. He advertises it to the masses. Yeah, but that's how I make money. And it's the fun, sexy stuff that everyone sees. That's it. Yeah. And everyone wants to do that. But they didn't see him like 7 a.m. in the morning rowing for like half an hour, 45 minutes. That's not sold. That's not like plastered all over the pictures. Come by my program. We can sit on a rower together for 45 minutes. Who's buying that program? Who's like, that looks good. Yeah. So, yeah.
But that's where the community side stuff is so nice because it's like you'll hop on the rower with your buddies at the gym maybe, and now you can do it and you put on, we used to do that all the time. I think we put on like the Lion King soundtrack or something one time and it was like, and then we talk about our memories of the movie. It was fun. That's kind of like sparked this good conversation.
It's like how bad this is.
This was here. No, fuck you guys. I'm going to get pissed now. It started good conversation and that's like, I think the community side is that the importance of group classes is that a lot of times your movement just needs other people around and it also needs to relate to things that are outside of just how much weight did you put on the bar and other things like that. So it sparked some damn good conversation and we bonded and I think it's good.
Then at the expense of that you have to listen to the Lion King. Yeah. So I don't know. It's risk versus reward.
Hey, dude, everyone else have headphones on. Just one. Look, it's better than listening to Stand By Me, all right? That wasn't my team. That wasn't me.
And that's another great thing about the community of a box. When everyone is getting behind, like the workouts do suck and they suck even more sometimes when you're on your own. But when you're with a group and everyone's pushing each other, you've got that little bit of extra energy from everyone. Like even like I do, if I'm working out or doing a session and even they come in doing the same workout, but you're just doing your sessions together at the same time, you just have that little bit more extra energy, that little extra push because you're doing it with someone versus being on your own thinking like, oh man, this sucks.
But does the community aspect still, is it still alive? I mean, it's not what I saw 5-6 years ago. And I feel I sound like a broken record because I've said this a million times to everybody over and over. But again, with all you guys in this room that have CrossFit experience and have been through it, and you know you're an OG, Meg, you know, from back in the day. Like before, when you'd see the videos and when you see the guys drinking a beer after the workouts and whatever, like now it's turned into this exclusive club. I mean, dude, I've seen some pretty shady stuff at the boxes, and you know, it hasn't been as welcoming as what I thought. CrossFit, you know, I'm in the class and everyone's going to cheer me on and I'm going to cheer them on and we're going to give each other pats on the back, and it wasn't even like that. It was nowhere near it.
I think yes. It's a trickle down kind of a thing. I think it starts with the coach of kind of breeding that atmosphere and encouraging that and just kind of setting the expectation. And that's something that was a big struggle when we started the gyms here like 6 years ago. We were so frustrated that it didn't just happen naturally because where we all came from in our boxes back home, it just kind of was like you just kind of gravitate towards the last person working out and still do it. And here you'd have people putting their equipment away and it used to piss us all off. But it was like no one ever really kind of talked about that. But there are friendships and things that are forming within the classes, which I think is so cool to see because of how secluded Kuwait can be as far as social circles and stuff go. And you get these people forming relationships coming into this class and doing it together. And it's like, I love hearing stories of like, oh, we met at the gym. I'm like, that's amazing. Or
like even like, like you said, like even like if I'm away or something, I have the guys asking, but you're going to send us a workout, right? We can still come and train and do something, right? Like we can still come to the gym. Like say like the person that usually comes last gets the biggest cheers because everyone comes around and tries and pushes them through. But here like was definitely like when I first come here, it was literally I didn't work. All right, cool. My bar plates are away. And I'm heading off to the shower. Now it's sort of gone a little bit full circle where guys are now staying here for an extra hour and 2 hours, just sitting on the floor around their barbells chatting and socializing. Whether they're a group of friends already, but everyone seems to, like you say, meet at the gym now and come to the box. In the, like, especially in the UK where I am, like the communities, it just seems to grow with time, gets bigger and better. Because like the more members come, the more people talk about it. They bring their friends,
Word
they bring
of
their
mouth is
friends, and
usually
it's
the way.
massive.
Yeah.
And massive. And the social aspect of CrossFit gyms is, it can be quite special as well when you have all these people coming from different backgrounds, different sporting backgrounds, different abilities, but they'll come to do workouts together, and then they'll stay after as well to say, like, have a beer, whatever's going on, eat pizza after. Sometimes you may have that going on, and just bond, and you have this community, like a second family gets built from it, which is a great place to be.
It comes down to the box though a lot of the time.
Yeah, massively.
Like I think it's important for the management, and you see some guys like head coaches who are like, say around like festive times or around like important like religious times, like they all gathering for food. Like in my previous box, we would take a futur together, like during Ramadan, like something like that, just on one occasion, but just everyone like dresses up, everyone's pretty chilled. We set the boxes out all at 20-inch height, and we've got a nice long table, and everyone's sitting around just chilling out, like for once.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the thing,
that's
is
really cool.
making time for community events that happen even like outside of, just the workout is really important for that. But the thing that's also hard here is the turnover of coaches is fairly high.
Well, no one wants to come to Kuwait or stay in Kuwait. You know, you get a deal in Dubai, or you get a deal somewhere else. It's like, all right, dude, I'm out of here.
But that's part of it, so they build a little community within that class with that coach, and then that coach is gone, and then it's like kind of, navigating a new coach again, and starting all over again. So that's the community aspect is a little different here as compared to where we.
Yeah,
where we
and
come
again,
from.
it depends the box as well. Like if the box is just offering CrossFit as a side, as a side class,
or is it a CrossFit gym?
That's where it's tough to see that community spirit when you got guys just coming in and out because they just fancy it for today, or they saw the workout, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's very different in the UK because it's like there's a box, and at 6 p.m. you have only in the box is the guys who are doing 6 p.m. class, and so they're like they own that place, that space for that time, and then 6:50 they finish, 7 p.m. guys come in, and then it's their box.
Or you have the guy that did the 6 a.m. class with their scores up on the board, and the 6 p.m. class going, all right, so this guy got that time. That's what I'm going to push against.
I missed that here.
Yeah, they don't do that at some of the boxes. At another box that I went to, they do that. They put the scores up there, and I'm the guy that gets pissed off if you get my time wrong. Like if you get my time wrong, if you don't put RX, I'm like, dude, no, man.
But these are like little goals that everyone. It's great, healthy competition.
I'll take you on any day of the week, Liam. All right, in a marathon, I'm running.
Right, okay, let's have this conversation then about whether people should put RX on the board or not.
It's when the whole workout is RX. It's not, I did power cleans at the right weight. And how was your hands and push-ups? I used 4 ab mats.
But that's the thing.
So you didn't RX the workout. You RX the weight.
You didn't even do a handstand.
If you do everything
if you do everything, I mean, that's a great achievement.
Is it important to put the RX on the board?
Not at all.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, why?
Because it's a pissing contest all the time.
I think it's a good little like goal for people to reach. Like, okay, this month I want to RX 10 workouts, or like these little goals that they can work towards.
So, is it important for them to put it on the board?
It's like a tough yes or no. It's such a to and fro thing.
Because
maybe it's important to that person.
It's to that person,
to that person. For sure.
I know for me,
So my argument would be, and I had this argument with the previous head coach as well, and like there was people for and against for all the reasons we talked about already. But I always came around to the point that like when we talk about competitive CrossFit versus CrossFit for life, and then we're saying about actually, okay, it's great for the guys who are RXing it and they get to put that next to their name, but the guys who aren't RXing it, like, should they RX it? Should they be trying to RX it? Yeah. So we said about guys who should be doing, but if ring muscle ups, it's like might be 30 ring muscle ups for time. If one person RXes it and they're like, boom, just
he's still on.
Guys. Like,
and I think we should take a step back and look at the classes as well.
Yeah.
Because if I suppose if a CrossFit class has got the only workout for today is 30 ring muscle ups,
and only one person can do it,
and there's the one guy that's going to be like, got this.
Yeah. It could be like bar muscle ups, like 2159, and then you got guys doing chest to bars.
Free look at the ring is like,
like, and then it's just kind of like actually, although it's great for the guys who are RXing, like it's fantastic for them, but I think it should be more intrinsic. That's where I think
for boxers they can have that split of like this is our competitive class and this is our regular health and fitness class.
But I like how you said that they were basically the same programming, just that little difference.
Can we have...
Because there's been instances too in a lot of the gyms that I've been at where they have like a competitors type class and then it breeds this kind of elitist attitude within the community. So that's a tough line.
Yeah, the RX is like something that is like at a very small level, like it's something that makes it breathe, makes it and breathes it.
And you see guys that like, let's say a workout should have been like 3 or 4 minutes long, guys will go to like the 40-minute mark,
right?
Just so they can get that RX. But it's like you completely missed the stimulus and what this workout was.
It's the same in competition as well. So like, should guys go to like, should they come first in the scaled or should they come last in the RX?
I'd rather come last in the RX. So, I mean, I've had this conversation with Rob actually before, and I asked him.
What if the price for top of the scaled was like $1,000?
But you're not going to go anywhere with the scaled. You know, people want to go see the RX. And I asked him, I said, look, no. But I said, if there are qualifiers to something and I'm competing in it, you know, if I go RX, then I'm within the top 50, so to speak. But if I go scaled, then I'm automatically out of the top 50. So what should I do? And to me, I'd rather stay in that RX weight. If I know there are things that's the level I want to compete on, that's my choice.
Yeah. So it's individual choice for sure.
Definitely. I think it comes down to individual. Yeah.
When you got kind of, I'm saying not kind of.
But if you're the guy that can do RX and you go scaled.
As a coach. Oh yeah, for sure. No, if you can do RX, like, yeah. But then ultimately, say for example, you got like a big competition. Say LFIT was just at the weekend, right? We have a big scaled and a big RX, but in RX, you had like handstand walk over obstacles. Like most of the RX guys had never even done that. Most of the RX guys couldn't do it. And so like you might have something like that where someone's like, no problem, or they might not have handstand push-ups. They might not have ring muscle ups, but they can do handstand walks just fine. It's like, okay, so they can do the majority of the RX competition. Should they be doing the RX competition? Like, you don't know. Also, it comes down to what they want to do as well.
Yeah, massive.
Like, if it's their goal and they just want to do a competition, have fun around people that, like, they enjoy being around, like, I would say go for doing a scale competition.
But there's a stigma to scaled. When you call it scaled and you market it as scaled,
that's because people like you want to RX everything.
There's no shame in scaling a workout.
Give it a different name. Market it differently.
What would you call it?
I would call it like...
But not RX.
Lesser AB.
No. I'd call it like, I don't know, something. Like, put me on the spot. Thanks, guys. You know what? I'll call it
Special
everything.
Guys.
I'll call it the one word that I've been saying this entire show since we started. The average Joe competition. You know, like, the average Joe. Something like that. But it's better than saying scaled. But there's a stigma saying, it's like snookers. You know, you guys are British. Snooker. I played that game a little bit.
Do you mean snooker?
I'm completely out of this one. What is snooker?
It's like
snooker, live pool.
It's their rich version of pool, all right? Except they don't have beers. They have like Bacardi or
ties. We're bow ties. Yeah.
But you know, like when you give someone a handicap, that's kind of what you're saying with the scaled version. Is it's a handicap, and some people, like for me, if there was a different name to it, and it wasn't, I didn't see it as something called like a disadvantage, like you're lesser than the elites. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
I think that's how it's communicated and how it's taught and how it's coached, and so it's. Yeah, you're teaching it in like, okay, this is the direction that we're going, but this is the level that we're at right now. So it's kind of taking that stigma away from the teaching aspect of it. Like
the next step to get to that movement you want.
This is kind of programmed for the middle of the road. The average Joe is, kind of that RX, and you go on either side of what you need to within that.
Yeah.
I mean, in some competitions they have scaled, then intermediate, then RX, then elite.
Yeah.
Like, so I think, like there's some competitions.
A long day of competition.
I think there's some large competitions in the US. I think maybe Wadapalooza has like.
Yeah, they've got every division. They even have adaptive athletes.
Which is.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's so cool to see the adaptive.
That is amazing.
Yeah, we have
and crazy to see some of the things they can do.
That's amazing.
Like it's impressive.
But on that note, I mean, Rob, thanks for joining us, and I hope you'll come back on the show.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I hope we didn't scare you off.
One question though. So we're the project, and our project right now is Kuwait and just getting people more aware of what's out there and everything. So what's like a project that you're working on? What's your project right now?
At the moment, I would like to try and get myself out there a little bit more, helping and programming for athletes that do want to maybe try and more the competitive side, definitely of CrossFit, and try and work towards that. But it's it's definitely a slow progress at the moment. Like I've kept a lot of my programming for people very small and intimate because I believe that if it's personalized programming, it needs to be personalized. It can't be just, this is the program, right? Here you go. To that guy, okay, here's number 2. You do the same one. Number 3, you do the same one. But we could have one guy that's incredible at muscle ups but can't deadlift, but we got the guy that's the complete reverse. So their program should look completely different, not the same. So like we need to work towards people's individual strengths and weaknesses. But with that, obviously with that comes money and expense as well. So trying to build something where people can follow along, something daily where it's a little bit more for the competitive athlete with options for them as well. Just trying to build that, and work towards that.
So where can people find you?
You can find me, the majority of it's on my Instagram. It's at Schillaci_3.
We'll tag that.
Yeah, tag that. It's a tough spelling. There's some funny spellings I get a lot of the time.
Well, it's better than
pronunciations
it's
of it.
better than getting your name wrong on
it's happened for so many years that it just goes over my head now.
The last one was hilarious, though. When I saw that on Instagram, the Roberto. Or whatever.
They didn't even use my last name. They used Salvatore.
Just made up a name.
I was like, who's this guy? But no, seriously, man, thanks for joining us. And it'd be awesome if we could have you back on like how to train like an athlete.
Definitely.
I think that would be a really good episode. So
topics are endless.
That would be a good topic. We're gonna write that down like sometime soon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.